Hari Bol, Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna Mataji. Oh my God. Now all the big people are here. Nice. Thank you, Mataji, for joining.
Mataji, please start.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody. Please accept my humble obeisances. I'll just do a small prayer to Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namaste Saraswate Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshata Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Ananda Koti Krishna Prabhupada ki. Firstly, I want to thank you all, especially Karuna Radhika Mataji, Sita Mataji, Namrata Mataji, everybody here, for giving me this opportunity. And this is a very, very nice topic. Just a few minutes back, I was telling that preparing this, it gave me a lot of knowledge and the strength, what I should do. And it's really inspiring to go through Narada Muni's Leelas. So much, I don't know whether I'll be able to cover in 1 hour, but let us see as much as possible we'll discuss. And request everyone to participate so that, I alone, if I alone put na, it won't be so nectar. If everybody participates and adds and updates my knowledge, my limited knowledge, then it will become more nectar. You all agree? Hari bol.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you.
Yes.
So yeah, that will start. So this 12 Mahajanas, it is discussed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, 2021. This is where the Ajamila story comes, the pastime comes, where he was saved by the Vishnu Dutas. And when he was saved, the Yamadutas really get bewildered. Like, how was that? He did so many sins and then, he got saved. And then he will, this is the discussion that goes, and Yamaduta will, convince that the holy name, by taking the holy name of the Lord and remembering the holy name of the Lord, somehow will save the person. And then continuation of that, this 12 Mahajanas will come, including Yamaraj. So the shloka goes, Swayambur Narada Shambho Kumara Kapilo Manu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vayasaki Vayam Dvadashaite Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhatah Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham Yam Gnatvam Ashnute. Translation: Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Narada, Lord Shiva, the 4 Kumaras, Lord Kapila, the son of Devauti, Swayambhuva Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janaka Maharaj, grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaja, Shukadev Goswami, and I myself know the real religious principle. My dear servants, this transcendental religious principle, which is known as Bhagavata Dharma, surrender unto the Supreme Lord, and love for Him is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. It is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand. But if by chance one fortunately understands it, he is immediately liberated and thus he returns home back to Godhead. So that's why I was thinking I'm very fortunate that, and you're all of us are very fortunate because we have taken this 12 Mahajanas topic that we'll try little effort to understand it so that back to Godhead. So who are these Mahajanas? It is mentioned here, and whom we usually, we will have a question like whom we should follow, how we should advance in bhakti. That is when these 12 Mahajanas comes into picture. So today, I think last week, Mataji spoke about Lord Brahma. So this week we'll talk about Lord Bhagavan Narada. Yes. So there, as I said, there's so much to talk about Narada Muni. So much. Let us try, discuss a couple of the facts, the things. First thing is one personality who appears in all Upanishads, Puranas, and in all the cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. Is like next to Sri Krishna. Wherever Krishna thing is mentioned, he is there. And then he has done a great work in many things, but his two compilations are Narada Bhakti Sutra and Narada Smriti. The third thing is the minute Narada Muni, we think, what comes in our mind? Can anybody answer? Narada Muni. Where do we use Narada Muni?
Conflicts, Mataji.
Yes. Wherever there is something fight, that's like, then is like, we'll say, oh, you're like Narada Muni, right? So is he really a Kalahapriya? That is some, with some examples, let us understand. And we will also see how actually he prevents conflicts. That is also we'll see. Then he is actually the reason for many renowned scriptures. You name it, like, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, then Bruhad Bhagavatam Vrata, which is my favorite book, scripture. So for many scriptures, he is the reason. And let's, briefly let's discuss about it. And he's also a spiritual master for many. And for Valmiki, Vyasdev, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Mrugahari, and can anybody say a few more? Where Narada Muni was like, a spiritual master, or even where he did an instruction and made the person devotee.
Valmiki, Mataji.
Valmiki, yeah.
Dhruv Maharaj, Mrigari.
Oh, right, yeah. And then Mrugahari, yes. Any other than this? Yeah.
Prahlad.
Prahlad, yeah.
Yes.
Next. Oh, didn't hear.
Maitreya, is it correct, Mataji?
Okay. So that's what I mean. There are so many, even the sages as well as demons, demigods, even animals. Like, snake I think we all have heard about the story where he even instructs a snake to control the anger, and then how the snake controls, and then when he, when he comes back and
even Kamsa also he advised to kill all the children.
Correct. Yes.
Mrugari.
Mrugahari. Yeah. Right. So that's what I mean. There's so many pastimes of it, right? Where he, instructed. He's a great personality. So, firstly, let us understand his origin. That means, yeah, we all know that he is a son of Lord Brahma. So there are different kalpas, and different pastimes has happened in one of the kalpa, where Lord, when in Bhagavatam it is mentioned that when Lord Brahma and Narada were discussing, Narada will ask his father, "Oh, father, that you have created all the beings, right? And for everything good. But then why you asked this four Kumaras? He asked four Kumaras to go and marry, right? To enter into the Grihasthas, but they were not interested. Where they were very much into the path of renunciation, right? So he asked, why did you do that? He says that what you did was not right. So Brahma, he becomes very angry, and out of angry, he curses Narada. He say, you should become a Gandharva, and by name Upabarhana. I will be asking a question, so please be alert. Huh? So he says he'll curse him to become a Gandharva by name Upabarhana, and he should be bereft of all knowledge, and he should become a dancing doll by in the hands of a beautiful woman. Indeed, he has to become a husband of 50 charming girls, and should become an expert in the art of sexual enjoyment. And he says you will wander through forest with this beautiful woman for how many years? Hundreds and thousands of years. This is the curse the Brahma gives to Narada Muni. It's a little bewildering, right? Yeah. So Narada Muni, actually, his intention was pure. He did not had any bad intention. His intention was good. He was also an ascetic, and he was a liberated soul. But when Brahma cursed, he had tears in his eyes, and he tells his father, "Oh father, you have cursed me, though I'm like faultless, and so I will also curse you, so that your curse becomes worth and justified." So he'll say, worship of you and chanting of your prayer, everything should disappear, from the surface of earth for a period of 3 kalpas. Now I'll not go into detail of what one kalpa is. And then he says, no one will worship in these 3 worlds, and you will be deprived of your share of sacrificial and all. So that is why we don't say any temple Brahma where we worship Brahma. I think when I searched, there is one temple in India, that is in Pushkar in Rajasthan. Not sure anybody has been there. Anybody?
Yes,
No,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, I visited last.
Oh, you visited Mataji Haribol. Nice. So yeah, so he's actually there is no actually significance of Brahma, his worship given in any Vedas or Puranas or Upanishads, because Narada Muni is a very pure devotee, and he cursed Brahma. So immediately, Narada Muni, he assumes the body of that one of the spiritual entities like Gandharvas, the beautiful body, very attractive, and will be very expert in singing and dancing. Now the question is, in Mahabharata also, one personality goes to heavenly planets to learn dance and singing from the Gandharvas. Who is that?
Arjuna
Arjuna.
Mataji.
Yes.
Brihanala.
Yeah, he'll become Bruhanala later on, but
Hmm.
that is the so that when Arjuna goes to heavenly planets, Indra, he will instruct him, and Arjuna follows. He'll think that definitely there must be a reason. So he learns the art of music, of singing and dancing, which doesn't even exist anywhere else. And people of earthly planets, they don't even know about this art. So he learns that. So anyway, coming back again. So Narada Muni, because of the Brahma's curse, he will be enjoying with all these beautiful ladies, and they were all daughters of um, Gandharva king. And many years pass. Then once he goes to Brahmaloka, where there is some dance performance will be going on. So he gets so captivated by those apsaras dancing. And this Lord Brahma witnesses, I mean, he saws and he stops and says that, such behavior is not tolerated here in this Satya, in this planet. If you want to do such activities, you should go to earthly planets. And then again, he will curse him. This is the second, where he says you should be bereft of even the sense enjoyment and should become a son of maid servant. And this is what we all know, that he becomes uh, a son of a maid servant. Mother name is Kalavati, and actually, how she gets this Narada Muni, how she gets Narada Muni, Narada is uh, through Kashyapa Muni. Um, he her husband is important, so at that time, in that yuga, this is allowed. So Kashyapa will give a child to this Kalavati, and his name will be Narada, and so he'll have a very effulgent body, and he'll have all the sattva, means all good qualities. So when he was small, only what he would be doing, he's always singing about the Lord, painting painting the Lord on the ground, um, because they'll be in the forest, no? So he'll be drawing, and whenever his mother calls and all, he'll say, wait a minute, I'm busy, worshiping, or I'm busy in with Lord. So this is how he would be. Even he will not be like going and playing with the normal kids and all. He's always busy with this uh, little worship, or thinking about, or doing something related to Krishna. So when he was 5 year old, when there is this Chaturmasa, the four Kumaras, Brahmanas, four Kumaras, they come to Kalavati's home, and she will be serving them and taking their association for 4 months. And once it so happens that when they are honoring the prasadam, they'll give their remnants to Narada Muni. So Narada Muni, without any hesitation, he accepts that remnants. And the minute he accepts, his heart transforms, and and he overcomes with the love of God. So now this Chaturmas is over, and when they are leaving, uh, this one of the four Kumaras, that is Sanat Kumara, he reveals a special mantra to Narada Muni. Actually, this mantra is even confidential in the Vedas. It's not mentioned what that mantra is. And this mantra is actually a capable of bereft of sleep, thirst, hunger, and then he gets this mantra from who? Anybody who gives this mantra out of four Kumaras?
Sanat Kumara.
Sanat Kumara, yeah. Now he gets this, and he will not chant immediately, but then as the time goes, Kalavati, she died because of snake bite. And one important thing is, when the snake bites, she remembers Krishna when she's leaving her body. And immediately she'll step into the chariot of higher planets, Vishnu Loka. So Narada Muni see all this, and then he doesn't have anything to do now. So he'll remember all the instructions and all the discussions that were happening among these sages. So he will leave everything and he will walk and walk, and then he'll get one place and he'll sit there and he'll sit there for a meditation for several years. And one day he will he will actually these sages will be discussing that, right, that Paramatma is there in our heart and all. So he will be meditating in that form. So one day he'll suddenly get that darshan, and then where Lord is sitting on the throne, and with all the gopis and all the cows, and while he is enjoying this nectar and drinking this nectar, suddenly the whole thing goes off. It's just like kind of a few seconds, that's it. So he'll start thinking about it again and again, and then he cannot remember, he cannot meditate, he cannot see that form again. He'll start crying. He's a small boy, so he'll start crying. And that's when uh, you know uh, uh, Lord Krishna, he will speak and he'll say, "Oh, dear Narada, what you have seen just now um, is not something that you're going to see it again in this lifetime. For that, you need to have a spiritual body, and you have to be purified from this material conditions. And you then uh, once you get purified and you leave this body and get the spiritual, then you will enjoy by taking part in my pastimes. So then Narada Muni will continue his austere and penance and tapasya. And then when he becomes very old, that is when he leaves his body. In the next birth, he becomes Narada again, a son of Brahma, and then becomes a great devotee of the Lord. So this is the origin. This is mentioned in our Bhagavatam. I also saw that he takes six different birds, like one, all this I mentioned. Additional to this, he also takes a monkey form. He also takes a worm, born as a worm and all. Since it is not mentioned in our, in this script, in this Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm skipping this. Have you is anybody heard about any other birth which I'm talking about? No. Okay. So now let us go. Let us go and understand that he is the reason for many renowned scriptures. First is like Srimad Bhagavatam. So when Vyasji, when he compiled all the Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, so many great scriptures when he wrote, he was still feeling so dissatisfied. He was so despondent that he was thinking, what is this cause? Why I'm not feeling that blissfulness? When he was exactly thinking at that time, Narada Muni, he appears, and that first thing that he asks is like, are you really satisfied by identifying the body and the minds as the objects of self realization? So basically, he's asking, are you catering everything to the body? Are you, is that soul? I mean, are you not satisfying the soul? So where is the satisfaction of the soul? So that's the question, that the very detailed one, which happens in, like, the first canto of the if I'm not, fourth and fifth and sixth chapters. So he then instructs him, like, Vyasji, to put all his energy and he, to glorify the Lord. Unless one glorifies the Lord, they cannot be happy or blissful, is what Narada Muni says to Vyasji. So regarding this, Srila Prabhupada gives one analogy, that if the boat is not anchored, it's not put a hook, it is always shaken by the waves of the ocean. So similarly, if our mind is not anchored or sheltered on the Lord, then this mind becomes very restless. And that's what happened to Vyasji. And when that happened, and when he thought about it, so Narada Muni, he came and gave the instruction. If he wouldn't have given the instruction and, transformed Vyasji, I don't, think we could have got this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is so much nectar. So this is how the thing came. Even you all know that Ramayana also, like, um, can anybody say how this Ramayana came? What was Valmiki in the previous life, or before he became the author of Ramayana? These are simple things.
He was a robber, Mataji.
Yes. Yeah.
He was a.
What he used to do?
He used to kill animals, Mataji.
Yeah, he
He
used to
used to
kill animals.
He
kill,
was to kill animals half, Mataji.
That is Mrugahari. That is Mrugahari. So Valmiki used to kill animals, he used to rob them, and then whoever comes on the way, and he was in an illusion that whatever that he is doing, good or bad, everything is equally distributed among, in the sense, like, the sins or good things is distributed among their family members. But then when Narada Muni opens his eyes, he will go and ask. He'll have a doubt. He will say, no, 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 that is not true. So he'll say, like, you go and check. So when he gets to know that they're not part of what the sins he incurs, but they enjoy the good things that he brings in, and then it is his duty uh, to do whatever he wants to do, but then they are not part of their sins. He will realize, he'll go back, he'll run behind Narada Muni, and he'll say, please instruct me. And because he's been doing so much sin, he will always, like, maro. So he will not able to uh, call out the Lord Rama's name. So Narada Muni, he's an expert. He knows, like, to each person, what mantra and what instruction has to be given. So for Valmiki, he says, you keep on saying, keep on chanting, mara. So by saying that for so many years, he will be able to, he'll be able to get purified, because he will be saying, by saying mara, he's actually saying Rama. And then Valmiki, I asked one question: how is there any personality? Is there anybody who is perfect in all the things? And that is when Narada Muni talks about Lord Rama, and the whole Ramayana. Ramayana will get into picture. So this is to And then Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it's like Srila Sanatana Goswami wrote this. This in Narada Muni, he will ask, who is the best or greatest devotee of the Lord? Um, and there are two cantos there, which actually is a discussion after the Bhagavatam. Between Parikshit Maharaj and Uttara, and that's a very detailed one. We can discuss about that later on. But this is where. So, can anybody tell who is the greatest devotee of the Lord? If somebody has heard about Brihad Bhagavatamrita, they will be able to tell.
Narada Muni Mataji.
Narada
Because
Muni
he-
only will be going and finding who is that.
Gopis.
Gopikas, Mataji, Gopikas.
Gopis. Gopis.
Okay, we are somewhere close by.
Hanuman.
Uddhava.
Uddhava.
Radharani.
Who's that?
Radharani.
Radharani.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Radharani.
so it's a Radharani. So it's a beautiful a pastime. I'll just say from where to where he goes. I hope I'll remember that. He actually goes to one Brahmana who would be like, doing a puja in the Kashi, and then he'll go and appreciates and glorifies him and saying that you are the devotee of the Lord. And he says, no, 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 I am like, nothing. And then he will say there's one king in South India, and he is like, his whole city is full of devotees, and he's always, engaged in the service of the Lord. So Narada goes there and glorifies that king. King will say, what am I? I'm like, nothing, because it's only for a few years, right? It's 100 years or something. Or I'm also like, going to face this death. But whereas Lord Indra, like, in the heaven, he is the great devotee. So he goes to Indra. Now Indra will talk about all his faults, that how much trouble he gave to Lord, and then he says, I'm not at all a devotee. I'm not at all a devotee, greatest devotee. Forget about greatest devotee, not at all devotee of the Lord. How can I be? Because I gave so much trouble to my Lord. And then he says, that's Lord Brahma. So Narada Muni goes to his father and he glorifies that you are the greatest. So Brahma again, he will say that he will narrate all the pastimes that where he troubled Lord, and he says, not me. And he says to Shiva, I hope I remember that further. Then Shivji will say, he'll go to Shiva and then he glorifies. And then Shivji will say, no, 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 not me. He will also discuss about all the pastimes where he troubled Lord. And then he says, not me. It is Hanumanji. Is that right, Mataji? Yeah, Hanumanji. So Hanumanji will say, how am I a devotee of the Lord? If I'm the devotee of the Lord, why am I like, staying here? I should have been going with the Lord, but I'm here only. So actually, Prahlad Maharaj is the devotee of the Lord because Lord was with him. Lord came for him. So Prahlad, Narada Muni goes to Prahlad now, his devotee, whom he instructed, and he became a great devotee. So he goes there, and then Prahlad will say, how am I, a great devotee of the Lord? Because I only remembered the Lord for a few years, and then Lord appeared, and I also disappeared. He went away. So no, it's not me. Otherwise, Lord would have been with me all the time. So if Lord is always with Pandavas, so Pandavas are the greatest devotees of the Lord. So Narada Muni runs there, and then it's so beautiful that um, where Narada Muni is so eager, and he goes and glorifies um, that particular devotee, and he goes from one planet to another. He can go anywhere. So he had all kind of a passes. So he goes to Pandavas and then meets Kunti Devi, Draupadi, then Pandavas. Pandavas will really will cry, and they'll say, you know, what uh, how you are saying we are fortunate, we are not, we are so unfortunate, because Lord was there when we were in problems, but then he left to um, uh,
Dwaraka.
Dwarka, yeah. So he leaves to Dwarka. So the Dwarka people are the great devotees of the Lord. And Dwarka, he goes there, and then those people says Uddhava is the devotee of the Lord. Now, um, the climax where Narada Muni will completely accept that Uddhava is the thing, and Uddhava will cry and cry, and then he'll say, "Oh yeah, I was in that illusion that I am very close to Krishna, but then when Krishna sent me to Vrindavan to with the message to the gopis, I realized uh, what is my position. Definitely, uh, I'm not the one." Yeah, in between, even he will also say that Dwaraka queens and Dwaraka queens will say that yeah, officially we are all wives, but unofficially Krishna is always thinking about the gopis, the covered uh, uh, girls, ladies in the Vrajavasis. So they are the great devotees. So now he comes to the gopis, and the gopis will say, if we are great devotees, he wouldn't have left us. He wouldn't have gone to Dwaraka. He left us. See, we are not able to forget him. We are not able to. We cannot even um, you know, Buddha came and he's telling we to forget, but then we are not able to forget him. And then they will say that Srimati Radharani, this Radharani is the greatest. So this is how Narada Muni will find. It's not he will find, he wants to find, but he wants all of us to find out or get to know that who is the greatest. And with this with this journey, he will make us understand that each of the devotee in their own whatever the body, the qualities, or whatever the limitations or conditions, how they are serving the Lord, and how each one of them are devotees, better devotees than other, and how each devotee is telling that they are not the devotee. They are not the great devotee, but other person is a great devotee. So Narada Muni is teaching us that we should never uh, become proud of, of what we are doing. We should always uh, appreciate and glorify the other devotees uh, bhakti, or the devotion, or how they are serving the Lord. So this is again, the from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Now these are the scriptures, and many more scriptures, right? And then if we see, he's a spiritual master of Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj. So starting with I think in the second canto, where he even goes and questions Brahma. This is again in another kalpa, where he asks, I thought you are the creator of all, because you created me, and you created all the beings. I thought you are the creator, but then I see that you are also meditating on someone. So who is that? So this time Brahma will not get angry, but he will smile, and he will explain to his son, yes, you are, you know, I know that you are in an illusion, and I respect that, because that illusion is also Krishna's, right? So he says, I respect that, but then I am not the creator. So he's so sweetly he accepts that he is not the creator, but he is the just like an engineer. So Lord Krishna is the creator, and he's just the engineer or the facilitator and following the instruction of the Lord. So this comes in the second canto, and then in the fourth canto, you know, Narada Muni he instructs Dhruva Maharaj, how Dhruva Maharaj, you know, by just hearing his stepmother's words, he gets so hurt, and then he wants to. He actually first he comes to his mother Suniti, and mm, but then Suniti, she's a very sweet and uh, a great mother. Why do we call great mother? Because she knew exactly how to console and what to, how to encourage and what to tell the right thing. So, but then, you know, she wouldn't know that, you know, this child is so much determined and firm in what he wants to do. So she'll say, just to distract him, she'll say, like, you know, she says, yes, actually, only Vishnu. You should take a shelter of Lord Vishnu. And then, not knowing the seriousness, she says this, and then he walks out. He walks out of the forest and walks out of the palace, and he enters into the forest. And the minute he enters, Narada Muni, he has that extra sensory perception, like he can know, like, you know, what's going on, where what needs to be done. So he'll appear in front of Dhruva Maharaj, and he'll start making him, like, first making him understand that he's a small boy. And first he asks, where are you going? And he'll say, I want to go and find out where Lord Vishnu is. So he says, you're a small boy, and then, you know, you should go back. And you're a Kshatriya. You should you should not take it to heart now, because uh, since you're a small boy and this is a forest which has all the wild animals, you know, he'll discourage him, like, you know, and make him to make him somehow he'll try to convince, but then what is that, Dhruva Maharaj is so determined. He says to Narada Muni, if you know, if you know where is Lord Vishnu, you tell me, and tell me. Otherwise, you give away my way. I mean, leave me. Either you guide me or allow me to go. That's how he is. And so Narada Muni, he will see this seriousness in him, and then he glorifies that how Kshatriyas are. Even at this age, at the age of 5, uh, he is not able to tolerate this insult or dishonor, right? And then, and he gives this 12 syllable mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, and he'll also instruct what he should do, how he should do the whole process. And then he leaves, and then Dhruva, you know, he follows that. Dhruva follows, and, you know, this it's actually a very um, uh, severe austerity, that, you know, first you have to be with the fruits, and then with only water, and then only with the air, and then without air. So there, Vishnu will come, and you know, this that pastimes happens. So what is a nice thing about Dhruva, that, you know, it is not that, you know, he became a famous for seeing the Lord or getting that planet. Can anybody tell what he became a famous for? Why we glorify Dhruva? Dhruv Maharaj. Why we glorify him?
His determination, Mataji.
Determination and faith, Mataji.
Determination and faith. Very good. There's one more thing, Mataji. Can anybody try?
Following the instructions of the Narada Muni.
Following the instructions. Nice, Mataji. Beautiful. One more.
Even though he
Very
was troubled so much,
Krishna.
he
Yeah,
didn't
somebody's
give up
trying,
much.
please. Yeah,
Even
he did
even
not
though he
give
was,
up.
he
So
didn't
that's
give up.
again comes to the determination. Anything else?
That
So
star
how
position,
did he
Mataji,
enter? How did he
Dhruva
enter
Loka.
the forest? And
Dhruva
when he returned back, how did he enter the palace? So I'm giving little clue.
Mataji, actually, he went and he wanted all the materialistic desire he had. He wanted the loka bigger than Brahma Loka. And
Yeah.
after meeting the Lord, he says, I don't want anything. And he comes with that and he regrets ki why I was asking. So I
Yeah.
don't want anything. I want only the Lord. So he goes
Yeah.
with the material desires, but comes back with this thing. But Vishnu says that no, you have to rule for 36,000 years, and then you will go to the pole star. You come more nearer to me as a Dhruva Loka and live forever there.
Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, Mataji. Thank you. Also, one transformation happens is
He was
at the
searching the glass pieces in the diamonds.
yeah, that's he compares, right? I came in search of a glass piece, but I found the diamond. That's you, is what he says. Also, when he enters, he will be actually very angry with his with his stepmother and a brother and everyone, right? But then when he goes back, he will not have any enmity against his stepmother. He's so calm and composed. He becomes so calm and composed. In fact, when they come and ask for forgiveness, he says, "No, I don't have any grudge, any thing." So this is one thing that this is one sign that we all should try for is um, when somebody hurts, and then because of that hurt, we become very very close to Krishna, very close to Krishna and Krishna devotees. And in our mind, at least, I know it's very difficult to go and appreciate them like what Dhruv Maharaj did. So we should appreciate in our mind that this is all because of our past, and they were just an instrument. And we have to be thankful to Lord Krishna for giving them in our life, because of that we became Krishna, close to Krishna, isn't it? So this is that enmity on anybody, or forgiveness is one thing that we should have if we want to advance in Krishna consciousness. Then, how am I on the time, Mataji? Oh my God. Okay, 7 minutes. So next thing is he preached this small boy, and in the next canto, the next pastime where we see Prahalad Maharaj is so eager, he couldn't even wait till the person was born. He preached when Prahalad was in his mother's womb only. So when Kayadu was arrested by all the demigods, because they thought this is a very nice a time, because Hiranyakashipu, he has gone for a penance. They were sure, they assumed, or they were sure that the son of a demon will going to be a demon only, and so it is better to kill. So they arrested Kayadu, and wanted to kill the baby in the womb only. So immediately, who came there?
Narad Muni Mataji.
Narad Muni.
Narada Muni.
Muni came there, and he told, he said, you're all thinking that she will give a birth to a demon, but actually, the destiny is she's going to give a birth to a great devotee of the Lord. So the minute they heard, they had so much respect for Narada Muni, and so immediately they left her as it is, and in fact they circumambulate her, and they leave her as it is. Now Kayadu, she saw this, and when saw this, she was like, "Who is this personality? He is so powerful." I mean, of course, she knows that he is Narada Muni, but then when these people, when they had come with so much anger and all, by just hearing something, they left her. So she will say it's better to take shelter of Narada Muni. So Kayadu takes the shelter of Narada Muni, and she'll say, please protect. And Narada Muni thinks that, this is the best chance to preach the the son of a demon. And actually, there's no significance of Kayadu here, but because she gave a respect to Narada Muni, and she offered obeisances and took a shelter of Narada Muni. He gave the whole knowledge, the Bhagavatam, to Kayadu. But then, um, uh, since she's a demon, and then she didn't give much um, time, like, to, she was hearing the knowledge, but from hearing from one side, and then leaving it from the other side. So she couldn't assimilate because of the nature that was there in her. But Prahalad, who was in her womb, was not only hearing, he was remembering everything. I mean, remembering the knowledge in the sense, actually, it is said, right, that we could remember all our past, so many of all our past births when we are in the womb of a mother. And yeah, that is discussed in the Canto 3rd and chapter 31, about the whole thing. So I'll not go into it. So he will assimilate everything. So here what he does is he will simply so nicely he will hear. So there are 5 types in Shravanam. Actually, to call it as perfect hearing, there are 5 things. Can anybody tell? I think in the last His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj's Yatra, Kartik Yatra, this was especially discussed with the Hyderabad team. So can anybody tell? So when we say that, I have heard, or this is the shower, I've heard something. So what needs to be done? It's not types, actually. It's so okay, no problem. So please write down, Sugoi, because I also wrote down this, and suddenly I remembered this. And so first thing is we should hear, and after hearing we should patana in the sense. Yeah, somebody
I
wants to
did not.
try?
Yes, Mataji, I did not hear Radhanath Swami Maharaj.
No,
But
not
just,
Maharaj saying, but in his yatra.
Yeah, just
one
as per
Prabhuji.
my understanding, I'm telling Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
When we hear something, first we should understand what it is.
Yes.
Then we should try to remember that.
Yes.
Then we should try to apply that, implement what we heard, and
Yes.
we should try to preach it if it is
Yes.
a good thing.
Yes.
And we should follow it, Acharana.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Perfect. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Almost very close, Mataji. Thank you so much. So yes, when we
Hare
hear,
Krishna.
we should, yeah, Mataji. Somebody wants to say? Okay, yes, hearing. Patana, that means we have to go back again and write down or, hear it again and again. Smarana, remembering. Then after remembering, we have to practice it. If we don't practice it, we cannot go and preach. If we practice and then preach it, then that purity will go. That what we understood will be will become a perfect thing. Because usually they say, right, when you share it with others, then because you remember, so you share it. But if you share it and those people will forget it. But if we are following it, and if we are preaching, then they're like, they'll remember, because they'll say, oh yeah, I heard this, and that person does this also. So that is the Shravanam. So Prahlad Maharaj is a personality for remembering the Lord. How he was remembering, and in fact, his friends will say, "Arey, where did you get all this knowledge? Huh? How come you are speaking all this? Where did you go? From whom you learned?" And he says, "I learned from my spiritual master." So they say, "We know only these two spiritual masters. Can anybody who is that two spiritual master of demons?"
Chandamarka.
So then he says, "So how come?" Then he says, "Yes, I have not seen. I haven't seen it yet. My spiritual master, but I heard it when I was in the mother's womb." None of us will remember what happened, but Prahlad Maharaj was able to remember. So he's the personality for this. Then yeah, so that's so nicely he instructs that. There's also a little extension to this, where Narada Muni, he bows down to Hiranyakashipu. He tells that, even I bow down, because when he is explaining this to Yudhishthira Maharaj, so he says, even I bow down to this personality Hiranyakashipu, but whereas Prahlad did not bow down to his father. So I mean, it's simple thing that the question comes that how come, right? So Prahlad Maharaj, he was so what do you call, is like, standing in front of a father. He's so small, weak, and in the same house. And Hiranyakashipu is his father, and he's a personality where even the demigods were like, scared of him. And he is facing and he is telling, no, you are not the supreme, you are not the great. So because that is the knowledge that the knowledge he got from Lord Narada, and he was able to remember, and he was able to even convince. He was trying to convince his father, saying, "Oh father, you are thinking Vishnu is your enemy, but actually there is no enemy. There's no one enemy. But who is the enemy? Anybody? Who is the enemy?
Your false ego only is enemy.
False ego? Anybody else? Yes.
One who causes obstruction in our sense gratification.
Sense gratification. Yes.
Mind, Mataji.
Uh-huh.
Mind.
Mind. Okay. Yeah. Very, very close. Yes. He says that, your disrupted mind. Your disrupted mind is the culprit. So there's no uh, uh, there is no enemy actually. So he says, where is this? Because he's smart. Hiranyakashipu is not fool like me. Whatever says, okay, go on. But then he was very smart. He says, where is this? Somewhere. I mean, he's weak and he's still talking about it. So some energy is coming. So he asked, where is this? So he says, it's all Vishnu, who is the basis of your energy and my energy. And this is where he is glorified. Prahlad Maharaj is glorified. And more than Prahlad Maharaj, Narada Muni is glorified now, because in this age of 5, right? Age of 5, he has been given such great values in the womb of his mother, and he was able to remember. So this is another glorification of Narada Muni. I was talking about the Kalaha Priya. So I think in the initial somebody said where the past times where Vasudeva Maharaj and Devaki they promised that every child, all the uh, uh, 8 child will be given to Kamsa. So when the first was born, Vasudeva will go and then gives Kamsa. He becomes, his heart actually melts, and he says, "Oh, he glorifies his brother-in-law Vasudeva, and he says, I'm not so bad. So you please take back this baby with you, because what I heard from the um, from the clouds, yeah, he's
Akashvani.
Akashvani, yeah, he's your 8th son. So I'm not so cruel to kill, your first baby." But then immediately Narada Muni appears there, and he will bring one flower. He will bring one flower, and he will ask Kamsa, "Can you count which is the count from, like, which is the first, which is the last?" So Kamsa will not be able to say. So he'll say, like, "Tell me which one is the first or the 8." Then Kamsa becomes, like, bewildered. Then Narada Muni says, basically here is what he says, that demigods are very smart. I mean, they are cunning also. So they may say later that it's the first child. So either first child may kill, or eighth may kill. So why you want to take a risk? So Hiranyakashipu will change his mind. So here we will think, why Narada Muni did that? This is why making Kamsa bad. So couple of reasons is, like, one is, if Kamsa becomes too good, Krishna will not appear quickly. Second, if he gives the baby to Vasudeva and Devaki, they will be very happy, and they will delay to give a birth, for the 8th child, and many reasons. And then he wanted Krishna to appear quickly. So in many situations where when the pastimes is happening, he'll come and he will first of all, that's a drama, and he will create even more a beautiful drama there, and he will fasten the um, he'll fasten the pastimes, so that Krishna comes. So that's why he is not a Kalaha Priya. He is actually Krishna Priya. So he'll do everything for bring Krishna, to please Krishna, and and make everyone happy. So this is one. Give me 10 minutes, so I will talk about how he prevents conflicts. One pastime, if you all allow me. I know it's 5:10 already. Okay, so we'll stop here then, Matajis. Does anybody know how he prevented conflict in any one pastime? I'll give a clue. It is in Mahabharata. Okay. So I can't stop telling, so I'll share it. Where Narada Muni comes where where Pandavas will be Draupadi in Indraprastha, when they are all happy. So that is where he comes and he narrates one story about the two demons, two brothers, and how they have those boon from Brahma that they will not be killed by anybody, anything, but they can kill themselves. So they are actually very, very close. Both the demons are brothers and they're very close. So they will think that, it's impossible, nothing, because they're so close friends like, so nothing can come. So they will start uh, troubling demigods, and the demigods will go to Brahma, and then Brahma will send one Apsara. And now, the minute the lady comes, these two will say, one person will say, because I saw first, she's going to be my wife, and your sister-in-law, and the other person will say. So, like that, the fight starts, and then, um, the, they kill each other. Now, why he tells this story to Pandavas is because those five brothers, even they are sons of Kunti and Madri. They're very close. They live so happily. But then Narada Muni didn't want any conflict because of Draupadi, because Draupadi is so beautiful. So he he narrates this, and he says that you should all have a rule that if you are with if Draupadi is with any one person, then none should enter into their private chamber. And if at all, if they enter, they should go to 1 year for an exile. So this is where he actually prevents conflicts. I mean, many situations are there, but this is one that we could remember from Mahabharata. Yeah. Because of Narada Muni, there is one one avatara we can see, not avatara, I should say. One form we can see. Who is that? He will see that. Okay, I'll
Vamana,
speak a few.
Vamana Avtara.
Huh?
Mataji,
Vamana
Gopi,
Avtara, Mataji.
Vamana
Gopi
Avtara.
Mataji.
No. So you please hear, he will see. Actually, they will be hearing the pastimes, they'll be enjoying. And he'll come and he'll see that.
Mataji, Jagannath, Balabhadra,
Hey,
Subhadra.
Haribo.
Jagannath.
Beautiful, yes. Jagannath. So, yeah, he will say that because he sees and he becomes so blissful, he'll say, I want everyone to be seeing this. So, and that's the promise he takes from Lord Krishna. So there are so many things, so many nice things.
And
Mataji.
Prachetas also he
Oh,
taught.
Prachetas, yes, Mataji. Yeah.
And Pravachina Barhi also he taught.
Yes, Mataji. That's what I mean. In every canto, he is there. In every canto, he is there. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji. It was such a beautiful experience sharing with you, preparing, sharing, and let us try at least when we are forget about the instructing, but at least when we are sharing, we should follow a little bit the the things that Narada Muni was doing. And even if not Narada Muni, one more thing I missed, Mataji, how Prabhupada was going all around Narada Muni, he was going around all over the world and preaching. So we should also do that. Not that we should go around, but wherever we are, we should give Krishna. We should talk about Krishna. And Bhakti Bhakti Vinod Thakurji's, there's one nice kirtan, so we should all remember that. Does anybody remember what's that kirtan?
Narada Muni bole Radhe Radhe.
Yes, Mataji. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah.